The old bath never looked better. It's great. You're doing fine.
Thanks.
So this movie came out in '84, and I remember seeing it for the first of many times in the summer of 1986 at the impressionable age of 8, when me and my friends huddled together and saw this scary movie that our parents would not approve of, under the cover of broad daylight, at camp, under supervision yet. There are many things in this movie that even a casual fan of horror, if not other Joe Dante films and pop culture in general, would love. But when I was 8, I didn't know that this clip on Billy's TV was from the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I didn't know that when Billy crosses the street past the movie theater that the films on the marquee were references to the working titles to the 2 biggest Spielberg movies then to date, and movies that I had seen too. A Boy's Life was the original title of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Watch the Skies was the original name of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg, as he would go on to do many times in the future, was on a quest to bring obscure talent to a larger audience, which is why he produced Gremlins for Joe Dante to direct, it being his project. He did that with Robert Zemeckis, same year, with Back to the Future, which was also filmed on this little town set at Universal. In fact, that theater is the same porno theater that Marty crashes into when he comes back from the future. So, there's all these great references and trivia, but I didn't know any of them in 1986 when I first saw the movie. But I did know who that old man in the bar was. That man was my hero then, and he's my hero now. Chuck Jones.
Excuse me, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. What's up, Gax and Gackyettes? Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic here. And today I thought I would show something to you guys that rather than, get into a specific project or review or something of that nature, this is more of me sharing. I've touched a little bit on this event where I got to meet Chuck Jones. I didn't get to meet him in person; it was over the phone. In fact, let me bring you up to speed. This is the mention of it in my Space Jam review. I was very lucky to get to meet Chuck Jones before he died. I didn't get to meet him in person. A friend of mine named Shawn and I got to speak to him over the phone by way of another really great friend of ours, the uber talented and zany and a cartoonist of a cartoonist, Mike Peters, who draws the newspaper comic Mother Goose and Grimm. Mike knew Chuck very well, and we're talking about Chuck, and all of a sudden, Mike just leaves the room and leaves us standing there with his wife, Marion, and all of a sudden we hear from the other side of the house, "Hey guys, come on in here!" So, obviously, we ran like the dickens, and he's cradling the phone, and he goes, "I called one of our friends." So thanks to Mike Peters, myself and Shawn McBee, the Ferris Wheelhouse video wrangler, got to talk to Chuck over the phone, and we exchanged. I think we exchanged information with the Peters. I'm not certain, but we both wrote letters to Chuck, and in my letter to him after the event, I wrote to him and I said, I don't mean to kiss up to you because I growing up, especially as a little kid, my hero was Bugs Bunny, as corny as it sounds. And, I never thought I would get to meet my hero, but the closest that I ever came to that was getting to meet him. So, again, I'm not trying to kiss up, but since I got to meet you and everything, I would dearly love a drawing of Bugs, and so he did. He made that, filled that request. You can also see the address. The return address is Linda Jones Enterprises. That's his daughter. And strange. I don't know if strange is the word, but it's in Irvine, California, and this is the company, and I would have thought for sure that they would be in Burbank, just because that, especially at the time that this happened, Burbank was the epicenter of animation. It still really is. I should read the letter first because it explains the drawing. So here's the letter. Dear Trevor, this is about as prompt an answer to a letter as I am able to generate. When I was a child of 70, I could manage a reply within a month, if it had 31 days. Yours was, and is, a very special letter. Thoughtful, insightful, kind, and very touching to me. There can be no meaning to the word imposition when there is love, so said Albert Einstein. So kissing up has no meaning. What counts deeply is your affection for my work. Play, actually. I can't remember ever having had a job. Thank you, and thank the ebullient and lovably mad Mike Peters for bringing us together. Chuck. Enclosed, bugs drawn on a legal pad. So naturally, in legal attire. And here now, of course, as promised, is the drawing of Bugs Bunny as a judge. And I really like the gavel. His gavel is a carrot too. That's an interesting touch. So that's, they say you never want to meet your heroes because there's always a good chance that they won't be your heroes in person. But in this case, Chuck Jones absolutely delivered. It was probably my favorite thing he had done in the 90s, if I can be completely honest. So some of you may have noticed also that I did a blog years ago, an animation blog, and I detailed the story in here, right up here. There you go. If you want to click on it, you can read it. You can get more in detail about it. But the one thing that a lot of people who read that and also saw the Space Jam video had asked over the years was, did Chuck Jones ever write back? So thanks again to the wonderful Mike and Marion Peters. And thanks to you for watching. And till next time, that's all, folks.